I'm very happy with where I am in my life. I'm very happy with what I've achieved. I know how hard I worked to get here. I know how difficult it was. And do I have a talent for some of the things I've done? Yes. But talent is only identified in the top 3%. Like, people say this, I had this all the time. Oh, but Tate, you're lucky you can fight. I'm like, what do you mean lucky? We didn't find out I could fight or not until I'd already trained for 10 years. Because until the hard work's done, that's where you see the talent. At the beginning, everyone has to work hard. Because if I do no work and someone who's not talented works hard, they're going to beat me. So we have to both work our asses off till we're at the very, very top tier. And the only way I can get ahead of him is talent. So talent doesn't appear to the end anyway. Most people haven't worked hard enough at anything to even identify they have talent. There's loads of people who could be extremely talented at shit, but they're too lazy to even do the basics. So most people don't even know their own talents.
I'm always looking forward to something. I wake up every day excited. I'll go do this today. I'll go do this today. I'll go do this today. And I very much live my life in a frame of, no, I have to do this. It's very much a, I get to do this. There's another thing that a lot of people make a mistake with when I talk to them, like, I have to go to work today. Change your language. I get to go to work today. Imagine you had no job. Be worse, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't be working. So you get to go to work. I have to fix the car. At least you have a car. You get to fix your car. Most people don't got one. I have to go get the kids. You get to go get the kids because you have these beautiful children who love you. You understand? People's even their own language is wrong. The world can be framed. Maybe I'm completely crazy. Maybe I'm full of shit, like you said. Maybe I am. But the frames I've installed in my mind are all beneficial to me. So if that makes me crazy and full of shit, good. Because I can't become depressed. So you can sit there and tell me I'm full of shit while you're depressed, and I'm happy. And I would never want to adopt the thinking of a depressed person. So if you're depressed and telling me I'm full of shit, I don't want to think like you anyway.
People message me all the time like, oh, but Tate, you don't know how sad I feel. No, incorrect. I know exactly how sad you feel. Difference is I used it. And you're sitting here still crying, some random guy on email for the fucking third month in a row. That's the difference between you and me, my friend. I was becoming a world champion kickboxer. I got to a point, people often talk about depression and say I don't understand it. I will say, listen, there's been times in my life where I was fully functional as an adult. I would never label myself depressed because I don't believe in the idea of labeling myself in a negative, because I don't believe in things that take power from me, which we'll talk about in a second. But there's been times in my life where I didn't give a fuck if I lived or died. There's been times in my life where I went to fight a man for money, and I didn't give a shit if I lost and even woke up again. Didn't give a fuck. I had nothing worth living for. I was brokey, didn't have a girlfriend, didn't have any fucking money. Got a 2-day call to fight some world champion. Had to lose 10 kilos in 2 days. Had nothing else going for me. Got on a plane to Dagestan and fucking won. There's been times I've done that. By all conventional wisdom, I was depressed. I was suicidal, but I was just like, no, I don't give a shit. And that's when I was at my most powerful.
When I tell people that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, everyone agrees. They go, yeah, that's probably true. The 5 people you spend the most time with, that's what you're gonna end up like. They say, yeah, that's true. And then they continue to hang around with people who they don't want to be. Why? There has to be a point. There has to be a point where you sit and go, okay, you're my friends, etc., etc. I love you guys. Yeah, we can talk, whatever. But I'm on a different life path. You have to leave some people behind. You wouldn't want to be, if you were to come hang out with me and you were in a room with me and my 5 friends, you'd feel self-conscious.
You're right.
You don't feel with your friends.
Because you only surround yourself around people that are on like your level of like.
I'm with killers. I'm with killers. We're fucking monsters. If you were to come hang around with me and my crew, you would be self-conscious, and that self-consciousness would motivate you, or they would certainly instill the discipline required for you to change. You don't feel self-conscious amongst your peers. That's why you don't change.
The stronger your body is, the stronger your mind's going to be. So whether it's business, whether it's women, whether it's anything else, I think if you have a strong body, you're going to have a stronger mind. I don't see how. There's 2 reasons for that. 1, because creating a strong body takes discipline, so it trains your mind. And 2, how can you have a strong body that's so resilient and have a weak mind? I mean, maybe if you do. I've known a bunch of dudes who do a bunch of steroids and they cheat their way to the top and keep down their pussies. But if you're doing
women fucking walk all over them. You see that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you see that a lot. But I'm talking about if you do it legit, like I did. I've never taken a steroid in my life. Never cheated. No, I just fucking trained hard. If you train hard, you're going to learn discipline. And discipline's always going to help you. And I believe that the link between the 2 is strong. Do I want more? Well, I'm always going to want more, of course. But is there anything particularly I want that I don't have? No. I pretty much have everything I want. And I gave it all to myself. This is what I mean. Because I wouldn't accept being ordinary. This is my point. This is my exact point. My life was ordinary, bro.
My life is ordinary. My mom and dad split up. I'm in a homeless house. I'm in a shit school. Me and my brother and my mom and my sister were living in some homeless hostel. I didn't know how to fight. I had no money. I'm a normal skinny kid. And then I became kickboxing world champion, multimillionaire. That was all me. And it's all because I sat there and goes, nah, fuck this. So I think everyone else could do the same. You know, who's saying the guy watching this right now would not be a better fighter than me if they didn't go fight? Maybe. Probably not, let's be honest. But maybe. But they don't try. They don't go. They're pussies. They're too afraid. They're too afraid to even go and fucking get punched, so they'll never know. And that's the life they want to live because they'd rather be ordinary. I couldn't live ordinary, bro. I couldn't even do it. Couldn't even do it.
So when I speak to depressed people and they sit there and say, no, you don't understand, I have depression, you are one, hypnotizing yourself to believe you have it. One. Yeah. Two, giving a bunch of power to this outside source instead of believing the power inside of yourself. And three, not just being realistic enough to know that I feel a certain way and I feel this way because of my life circumstances. And if I change my life circumstances, perhaps my mindset might change. And that's why I say depression isn't real. The worst things on the planet could happen to me. I refuse to be a depressed person. I may feel depressed for a day, or I may feel depressive for a few hours, but I will never be a depressed person. I'm not the guy who walks with his fucking head down. I'm the guy who walks with my shoulders back and my chin up high. That's who I am as an individual, and I absolutely not refuse to change. And I cannot catch depression. All these people out here saying that depression is a disease. I can't fucking catch it. I'm immune. Because I'm living life, they're trying to attack me with everything they can. I can't catch depression. It's never happened, never fucking will. I talk to people all the time like, oh, I'm unhappy, I'm depressed. And I'm like, stop saying it. You're saying it.
You gotta be speaking.
Yeah. Why are you saying it? You're happy, my friend, because you're talking. If you're truly unhappy, you don't talk. Think of the last time you lost a family member. The first thing you did is you sat in silence for half an hour. First, you get a phone call and you just sit there. And someone goes, what's happened? And you might give them a few words. That's unhappy. If you're running your mouth down the pub about being unhappy, you're attention seeking. That's what you're doing. So a lot of people are labeling themselves. And I absolutely refuse to take my own power away. There are so many things in the world trying to kill us. Like you got enemies, you got people on the streets with blades, you got bacterias, fucking lions. Oh, I've got enough enemies, bruv. Sharks want me dead. I've got enough enemies. Why am I going to take my own power away?
Man, when I was fighting, I'll say this now openly. One of the biggest advantages I had back when I was fighting is I just didn't give a fuck if I lived or died. I was semi-depressed. I just didn't give a shit. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow we're doing a fight, cool. I tried to. Badr Hari had a fight. I think it was here in Dubai against. He ended up fighting some guy from England. I can't remember his name. Some Russian guy, whatever. I was trying to take that fight in a day's notice for like 10 G's. I was in life for like 10 grand. 250? Yeah, Badr Hari's massive. He's much bigger than me. I was like, yeah, give me the fight. I just didn't give a fuck, right? Now I got things to live for. But back then, like it was kind of get rich or die trying, and fighting was the only thing I knew or I was good at that I could even consider. Because even before the internet, now with the internet, you have a whole bunch of kids with money and shit. Before the internet, you didn't have no crypto kids or some podcast kid or whatever. Yeah. Now you see 20-year-olds worth 200 million. Back like only 15 years ago, there was none of that. So when I was young, it was just like you had to get a job, and it was just depressing. It just sucked. But if people are crying about something which is very fixable, it's very difficult for me to be interested in their crying. And I'll tell you why. Because if I have a set standard for myself, if I wouldn't allow myself that luxury, it's very hard for me to give it out to everybody else. If I don't allow myself the luxury of being incompetent because of an emotion, then it's very hard for me to look at others and go, well, you're allowed to be incompetent because of your emotions, and you're allowed to be incompetent because of your emotions, and I'll just deal with the struggle of never being incompetent ever, regardless of how I feel. If I have standard for myself, I'm going to implore my standard or imply my standard on others. And if they don't meet that standard, then they're going to call me insensitive.
What would you have to give up to become more sensitive, particularly to your women?
I'm a very sensitive, romantic, nice man.
Yeah.
In general, I'm actually a romantic man. I get called that a lot. No one calls me cold.
Right.
It's different.
You're loving?
Completely. But when it comes to problems especially,
right,
can be insensitive.
You default to problem solving.
Absolutely.
And that's not what they want.
What's the issue?
They want you to just understand and hold them.
They want to cry about the problem a while. And time is money. Time is money. I'm like, okay, yeah. Boom, boom, fixed. I've yet to meet somebody who gets up every day, does what they're supposed to do, works hard, goes to the gym, then goes to work, does their best, makes their money, looks after it, is sensible, doesn't blow it, et cetera, who then fails. I've never met anybody who fails when they do all the right things. The universe is a very fair and giving place, all in all. There are very few exceptions to that. So when I see somebody who doesn't have the success they want, especially when I see, let's say, a group of people who don't have the success they want, there's no way you're all exceptions to that rule.
You may want something, but you certainly don't deserve it, and that's why you don't have it.
Never done anything like this before. I can only imagine what I look like with this cap on. It's gonna be my new Instagram profile.